The golden liquid splashed onto the edge of the table, droplets scattering across the polished wood. Instinctively, Lily leaned back, narrowly avoiding the accident. Conversations around them faltered as a few curious patrons glanced their way. The waiter, red-faced and flustered, rushed to clean up. "I'm so sorry, miss," he stammered, fumbling with a cloth. Lily waved him off, her voice steady. "It's fine. No harm done." She reached for a napkin, brushing away the few drops that had splattered onto her sleeve. "Did you see that?" Chloe's voice cut through the moment, brimming with barely contained excitement. She leaned closer, her eyes gleaming. "That was fate. It's practically screaming at you." Lily raised an eyebrow. "Fate? Over a spilled drink?" "No, silly." Chloe jerked her head toward the bar.
"Him. San Yen.
Of all places, he's here. Tonight. The universe is practically shoving you two together." Lily's stomach tightened as her gaze drifted toward the bar. There he was, San Yen, leaning casually against the counter, one hand wrapped around a glass as he chatted with the bartender. He hadn't noticed the commotion, or if he had, he didn't seem to care. Memories stirred. High school days flashed in her mind, San Yan's unshakable confidence, his relentless pursuit of her. Time had only refined him. His features were sharper now, his presence even more magnetic. And yet, the thought of facing him made her grip her glass tighter. Chloe's voice pulled her back. "You're too quiet. Don't tell me you're nervous." "Nervous?" "Hardly." Lily forced a smile, her tone clipped. "It's been 6 years. We've both moved on." Chloe tilted her head, unconvinced. "Then prove it. Let's go say hi." No, Lily's reply was swift, final. Her voice softened as she added, "There's no point. We're different people now." Before Chloe could argue, a shadow fell across the table. Lily looked up, her heart sinking as her eyes locked onto a familiar pair of dark eyes. Well, San Yen said, his voice as smooth as she remembered. "Lily Zhang. It's been a while." Chloe practically vibrated with glee. "Small world, huh? Fancy seeing you here." Lily forced a polite smile, masking the turmoil brewing inside her.
"San Yen.
Long time no see." He tilted his head, a playful smirk tugging at his lips. "I wasn't sure you recognized me. Or were you pretending not to?" "Of course, I recognized you." Lily straightened her shoulders, her tone even. "You haven't changed much." "Haven't I?" His gaze flickered to Chloe, then back to Lily. "And you've changed. More confident, I'd say." Chloe stood abruptly, her grin wide. "Well, I'll leave you two to catch up. I need another drink." "Chloe," Lily started, but her friend had already disappeared into the crowd, leaving her alone with San Yen. He slid into Chloe's vacant seat, his eyes never leaving hers. "So," he said, his tone conversational, "what brings you here? I wouldn't have pegged you for a nightlife enthusiast." Lily met his gaze, without flinching.
"People change."
"Didn't you say that?" His chuckle was low and rich, sending a shiver down her spine. "Fair point." For a moment neither spoke. The hum of laughter and clinking glasses filled the space between them. Lily toyed with the stem of her wineglass, unsure whether to steer the conversation or let it drift. Then San Yen leaned forward, his voice dropping just enough to draw her in. "Tell me, Lily, do you still walk away from things that scare you?" The question hit its mark, and for a split second, she faltered. But then she lifted her chin, her voice steady.
"No.
Not anymore." A flicker of something, admiration, perhaps, crossed his face. His smirk widened, the glint in his eyes both a challenge and a promise.
"Good.
Because I don't intend to let you this time." The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. As the night swirled on around them, Lily realized this wasn't just a chance encounter. It was the beginning of something far more complicated. Lily glanced at the bar one last time before stepping outside with Chloe. The cold night air hit her skin, grounding her from the whirl of emotions still stirring inside. She pulled her coat tighter around herself, her thoughts circling back to the unexpected meeting with San Yen. Chloe nudged her. "You okay? You've been quiet since we left." "I'm fine," Lily replied, A bit too quickly. She tried to focus on the bright city lights ahead, but San Yan's voice echoed in her mind. Do you still walk away from things that scare you? Chloe raised an eyebrow. You sure? Because I'm getting lost in thought vibes, and they usually involve a certain someone. Lily shook her head, letting out a dry laugh. It's not that deep. He's just the same as ever. Same? Are you kidding? That man has main character energy written all over him now, Chloe teased, her grin widening. Honestly, though, he didn't take his eyes off you once. It was intense. Let it go, Chloe, Lily said, but her voice lacked conviction. They reached the subway station, and Chloe waved as she headed toward the opposite platform. Text me if you decide to do anything fun about this. You know, like not walking away. Lily rolled her eyes but managed a small smile. Good night, Chloe. She watched her friend disappear into the crowd before descending the stairs to her own train. As the subway rumbled through the tunnels, Lily leaned her head against the window, the city blurring into streaks of light. Memories of her last encounter with San Yan years ago resurfaced. The sharp words exchanged, the pain they both tried to hide, and the silent promise to never cross paths again. Yet here he was. Lily's phone buzzed, pulling her out of her reverie. A message from an unknown number lit up the screen. You still walk away too quickly, Lily. San Yan. Her heart skipped a beat. How had he gotten her number? She stared at the message, debating whether to respond. Before she could decide, a second text arrived. Coffee tomorrow? No pressure. Just catching up. The subway slowed to a stop at her station. Clutching her phone, Lily stepped onto the platform, the cool air brushing against her face. She glanced back at the screen, her thumb hovering over the keyboard. Do I respond? She thought. Or do I let this go, just like before? Lily sighed, slipping her phone into her pocket. For now, she'd let fate decide.